There's nothing more satisfying than finding the perfect green paint for your living room. Except maybe popping open that can of Valspar Ultra and rolling that first smooth stroke on the wall. And there's nothing more satisfying than admiring your freshly painted wall.
Ooh.
Except maybe peeling off the painter's tape to see those crisp edges. But the most satisfying part of all? Valspar Ultra's price tag, starting at $29.98 a gallon. Affordable, durable, available at Lowe's. Price varies by Shein.
Welcome to For Mannerless Women, a space nurturing a new generation of shame-free women who are ready to meet their best selves. My name is Adelle. I'm your host, and in this episode, we get into part 2 of all the legal knowledge women need to know. Helping us do that is Modesta Manga. She's a senior associate at Alakonya Law. All right, so in part 1, we met Barbara, and Barbara taught us a lot, but she's also very, very passionate about mentorship. And one of the people she mentors is Mwanga. How are you doing?
Very well, thanks.
Yes, and I think you're such a fire force. I had contact with you and we worked together when I was going through my divorce process, and I have to say thank you for everything that you did for me. But what are other laws that you feel women need to be aware of? And maybe we could start with, a woman is watching this, she has children. We don't often talk about it, although we have in this first season, death. What do you think women need to think about in terms of their death and legally making sure their children are going to be okay?
Okay. Yeah, not to be morbid, but we all have to anticipate death at some point. What advise women to do is traditionally, people have been writing wills, but currently, and we've seen from the big estates, I won't mention names, but for the big politicians in the nation, people are now opting to do trusts. This is because comparatively, with trusts, they're barely contested. Then, because in cases of wills, say a woman dies and decides to, before they die, definitely they write a will, then they're dead, and now someone wants to contest. They can truly come, because there's actually a section in the law where, say, your husband was depending on you. They're actually entitled to your estate. The same way, if that husband was dead and you are dependent on them, you can be entitled to their estate. So say, that is why wills are not, they're becoming less popular now.
Oh, because they're not foolproof.
No, they're not foolproof because they can always be contested and they can be revoked. Then you have to go back to the entire succession process from the beginning.
Wow. Okay, so let's just reverse, because I didn't know that a will isn't completely foolproof. And I think I've heard of people contesting wills, but I just thought, you'll always fail because the will is like the holy grail.
So the whole concept around wills is that courts tend to want to cater to everyone who was a dependent. Regardless of what you've written. So if you've written, I have 3 children and you're taking care of, say this guy came with another child, that you are the sole provider. And that child is a dependent. You're catering to their school fees, personal needs, everything. So what courts consider is who's a dependent in this case. The will is here, yes. But then why is child ABC left outside, and yet there's proof here Adelle was paying school fees at Nova Pioneer. There's proof of constant.
Yeah. And so what is a trust?
A trust is a legal document where you incorporate all your wealth, basically. All your wealth. Then now you have to put in trustees, people who will. It's by your choice, and it works. The difference between a trust and a will is that a trust will function from when you're alive. A will only works after your death. So when you can keep changing. Even for a trust, you can keep, when you buy more property and you feel you want to put in your trust, you put. So the difference is that a trust can start working when you're still alive.
And so does it have, your trust has trustees, and is it more equally shared when you pass away?
So again, according to your wishes. So if you put a trust functions like this, so say you have children who are still going to school right now, and from how you're looking at it, you have others who are wealthy, but they're your children, they're dependents anyway. You put them in the will to maybe just take care of the ones now who are the younger ones.
Yeah.
So say you have property somewhere around here that generates income every other time.
Yeah.
So now you put the ones that is constantly generating more income to these names. So that when you're dead, the income that is coming is still taking care of this one. Yeah.
Okay, I get it. And so it has a lot more structure to it.
Yes, a trust has a lot more structure and more. Also, it functions better when you have a lot of wealth. Yes, better than a will.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in cases where people had trust, do we see less? A trust can't be contested, can it?
Barely. Barely. It can't be contested because throughout the entire process, you even put a supervisor. You can choose your lawyer to become a supervisor or one of the trustees.
Okay.
Yeah, you choose whatever. It's barely contested because it starts functioning before. You see, a will only functions when you're dead. So you can never know. So you're like, when did he write this one? Is it because they put a gun to his head so that he can write this one? But for a trust, there's a whole process as you're developing it step by step. And you can't even let the people in the trust know. Yes.
This is so interesting. So another thing that we see women go through here culturally is like, if my spouse dies, the community or the family says, oh, it's culture for us to have this. It's culture for us to have this. And we see a lot of widows left with close to nothing, right? Yeah. Is there a way, or first, in that situation, are there laws that protect widows? And it's just a situation of we just don't know about it?
Yes, there's laws, succession laws that protect widows here and there. Every other time we've seen it, we know we are Africans, we know a man dies, then there's 3 wives and a 4th one that we didn't know about, but was taken care of. So basically, for women, it's proof of dependency. So you can come and say, yeah, we were married. And before I go on, there's one thing that women need to know. First, I think Barbara spoke about it. Ensure you register your marriage because, I mean, you can be married for 22 years and still cohabitation isn't like customarily and according to the colonial laws, cohabitation used to be marriage, but now it's not. But however, in succession laws are they try to resonate with people on the ground. Okay. Because the reality can be that, fine, this man has 1 wife with, say, 3 wives, but the first one only is the one who has the legally.
Oh my God, okay.
Yeah, and when you're married once, you've not divorced, you truly have no capacity to marry twice and 3 times and what times. So
the law doesn't recognize the 2nd, 3rd, 4th.
Well, when it comes to succession, it actually does. But now, for succession, it just can't be any woman. You have to come with proof. Like there's a case I've done where the husband was buried, say, in the 2nd woman's homestead and not the 1st woman.
So that's proof
that there was a relationship. There was dowry payment. That is sufficient proof for the succession court.
Not for this is a marriage.
Yes. Okay. Not for this is a marriage. If you can't, but for the succession court, basically you just have to come and say, we've been living together. I've been dependent on him. He's been catering to this and this. There's
proof of his payments
and pesa. Keep the receipts.
Oh my word!
Ensure you keep your receipts here.
So you have to prove that he was acting in the capacity of...
And actually, even having children is not even in question at this point. You might have come to this marriage as a 3rd wife with your own children. But maybe this man was taking care of you, of everything. So proof of dependency.
Let's take that situation. So if I came in as a 3rd wife, we don't have a marriage certificate, right? But I can prove he's been taking care of me and these 2 kids I came into the marriage with
Yes.
that are not biologically his
children. Yes.
When so he passes away, we're going through this succession thing and we're fighting for like what's ours. Does the court take into consideration these 2 kids because I can prove he had paid?
Dependency, yes. Proof of dependency come with the receipts. I've done a number of cases where you find this man has been paying school fees. So a child won't suffer just because. I mean, he's been paying school fees for, say, 10 years. So now where do they go? And they have a very huge estate. And maybe the first family is coming, guns blazing, and they want to take everything. But yet there's proof of dependency. So just for as long as you prove that, you get a share of whatever it is that the estate still has. Yeah. And that is truly why succession matters take a very long time, because of the contestation. Then people intermeddle with the estate. Some people start, eating the bunny before we bring our nads. So before we move to the next batch of laws that women need to be aware of, I also wanted to say, when as much as succession cases take such a long time, when my spouse dies, I'm the first wife, and these things happen so quickly. When people are rushing in to grab, it can happen over days. If you're lucky, over weeks. So a woman in that situation, should she immediately look for a lawyer? Yes. Immediately. You don't even have to be a second or first. You don't even have to have a number of wives for you to look for a lawyer. Your husband dies, immediately after the burial, definitely. Get the death certificate, look for a lawyer, start planning for the administration of the estate, because there's instances where you'll need to access money. Maybe you're the only wife, but now you can't, because it was in the name of who? Your late husband, and now you need to move on with life, but now you still have to get court papers to go to the bank and say, I'm the administrator of the estate, I'm the beneficiary, so now I can access this money. So immediately your husband dies, start the succession process. Whether you feel like you need it or not, you'll need it. The time is coming. The time is coming. It may not even be about this man having many wives, but maybe relatives. We know how relatives behave. Brothers might start intermeddling with the estate. So you having court papers kind of just helps sort the situation, because you can get reinforcement from the courts. With a court order, court can direct police officers to do ABC and help you here and there. But what I'm hearing is that there are ways to protect yourself, which is very hopeful. So I like that. Yes. What about employment? Are there laws that we need to be aware of, or rights we have that we need to be aware of? Women in these spaces, we all know, we are lower. Like it's always been like that traditionally. We can talk about this for ages. So in employment spaces, there's policies that guide these things. There's sexual harassment policies that protect you from things that people don't talk about very often and very openly as well, because again, sexual harassment is something people shy about so much. So say you join an organization, ensure in your employment contract, there's a human resource policy that comes after and covers for things that you as a woman, say discrimination, sexual harassment, things that will cater to your needs just in case. Because it's just we're anticipating bad things always. So just in case, ensure you're covered in that area, you know how to deal. So for example, when there's the HR manual, it means it guides you on what to do in case what happens. So on who to go to next, on who to report to, instead of getting the stigma and not knowing, does this happen? Should I call someone? Should I go? Should I sue? What should I do? So I like that you brought up like sexual harassment in the workplace. For instance, if you experience that, unfortunately, and the company has a policy, etc., but you find that nothing is being done, is it within my right to go and report it externally? Yes. No, that is where now the other things externally come in, because if the internal organ is not helping sort anything, yeah, truly, it's by any color of right, you can walk out, go report. Yeah.
The other thing I want us to touch on in terms of employment that I saw happen, and as much as I'm not in your field, but I was like, I'm not a lawyer, but I feel like legally, this doesn't feel like it should be happening.
Yeah.
It's women get a job, and during the course of them working, they get pregnant. And while they're away, their role is declared redundant. Only because it's not put on the paperwork, but only because the company doesn't want the burden of paying someone who's not at the workplace. If that happens, what are my legal options?
Okay. There's cases, millions of cases that we've seen women being discriminated by virtue of, I know there's offices, truly you can't walk in pregnant and get a job because it looks like a liability. And for that, the recourse, the legal recourse that you get in that instance is employment court. Just filing an employment suit stating this and this happened or discriminated here and there. If it is termination, because I mean, every woman is entitled to 90-day maternity leave. If there's organizations that will give you 1 month. So your child has not even grown the nose, but now you have to come back to the office and go back to working. So yeah, it's quite strange. But now when things like those happen, truly the employment court, and luckily for us, if you're in Kenya, basically, most employment courts are pro-employee. Because you're the one who's you're the receiving end always. So for as much as they tend to, of course, they'll weigh options and look at what this and this, but most of them are pro-employee. Things like the pregnancy and whatnot, they're really strong cases.
And it's wrong. It's legally wrong, right? To terminate me while I'm on my maternity.
Yes.
And do I also have redress? But it's hard. How do I prove it? If I walk in for an interview and I'm visibly pregnant, and how can I prove that's why they didn't take me on?
So with that, truly to just be you, maybe blowing the horns out there because you're not an employee yet. So you have no rights. You'll just feel bad about it and maybe put on social media. But you're not an employee. For as long as you're not an employee, you two don't have a contract.
So they have no obligation.
Yeah, they don't owe you nothing. So it's just a bad day in office for you.
Oh my God. Okay. And so are there any other laws that you feel passionate about? Because I know you have this like fiery energy. You're sitting calmly here, but I've seen you in action when it comes to cross-examining and stuff. Are there any other laws or legal knowledge that you think women should be aware of?
Yes, for sure. I think one thing that I'd planned to mention is when after, say, a divorce or separation and you have children, first cause of action should not always be the courts. Try and settle, because us guys thrive in mess, because it's our field day, it's our day job. So there's something called a parental responsibility agreement. I've seen it even amongst my friends. Like, try and just don't involve, of course, with the PRA, you'll involve lawyers who'll draft it for you, but don't go before the courts, because you're subjecting children to the most torture they would ask for, because these days they even call children to court, to be examined for them to say which parent is better, when you could truly just sit down as adults, around table, discuss, come up with a structure of raising your children before going into the field of madness.
Yeah, that's really good advice. I feel like what I've learned from you and Barbara is like, keep your receipts.
Number one, rule number one.
Keep your receipts. You've given me a lot of hope, because it feels like even in terms of employment, just knowing my rights as an employee, I think that's something we don't think we have, right?
For sure.
Succession, I've learned about trust. That's quite illuminating, because I didn't know wills may not be the best option, right? So thank you. Thank you so much, Mwanga, for sharing all of this knowledge with us and for the work that you do. And thank you for watching this season of For Mannerless Women. It's been absolutely incredible. In the caption, you're going to find quite a few things. One, you're going to find a lot of information when it comes to Barbara and Mwanga and the work that they do, the articles that can help you learn a bit more. But you'll also find information on our very kind partner, Polished Homes, who made our set very polished when you look at the furniture and the table and that beautiful fan. And they have 2 different branches that you can go to see all of the different stuff that they have from different African countries as well. If you want more information on Polished Homes, in the caption, there's a link to their online store. Right now though, make sure you subscribe so that you do not miss out on the next season of For Mannerless Women.